Hey, I like how your college essays are turning out. I mean, it only took like, what, 4 hours of nonstop editing in the middle of the night? I imagine you're feeling a little tired right now, yeah? Shh, 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 shh. It's okay. Look into my eyes. Just rest. Sleep. Oh, hey there. You goobers are finally awake. You were sleeping like a rock earlier, so now it's time to get back to work, yeah? Let's take a look at those essays again. Okay, let's see where we left off. Oh my god, dude, this is booty. Like, why did you think this would look any good at all? Like, oh my god, what were you thinking? Hey, sorry for making fun of your writing earlier, but I hope you recognize I had to be harsh there. You can't just start an essay with "I'm gonna goob on these gobbers." Like, that's not what I meant by starting your essay strong. But I did want to talk about something pretty important, scary even. Specifically, it's the reason for this whole video. First, notice anything weird that happened while you were writing your essays? Yeah, you probably noticed you made way more edits than you expected. You're on like what, draft number 1 million now? And also notice how when you edit, it only sounds good at the moment until you return with a fresh pair of eyes when you wake up the next day and wonder how you managed to conjure this Lovecraftian horror, right? Yeah, it's like, oh man, I edited this essay for 5 hours now. I think I could finally get some rest. Then you just wake up with this like reality check, and it just beats the ever living crap out of you. Like, what the hell's up with that, man? But you know, you know what's crazy? You're not the only one. So many of my students who wrote their essays went through the same level of disgust. It's so common. I actually gave it a name. I call it college essay hangover. It's like seeing the boy or the girl of your dreams and you fall in love with them, just head over heels, but it's the alcohol. So you wake up realizing that the guy or the gal that you were actually obsessed with was actually crazy. Now, the question is, why do we do this? Why do we do this stupid crap? This endless loop of editing and editing again and again and again. It's actually kind of simple. Long story short, it's control, or more specifically, the yearning for control. Let me explain. In all of us fellow goobers is embedded in our minds a yearning for a sense of control. A sense of control is important for us to follow through with challenging tasks. Things like unpredictability and the rise of failing so horribly that everyone laughs at us makes us feel like we're no longer in control of our circumstances. It's also why a lot of people are scared to get into things like entrepreneurship, which is an extracurricular I covered in a previous video here. For a lot of you goobers, there's this brutalizing feeling of a lack of control over your admissions decisions. No matter what you do, it's not you who has the power to decide if you get in or not. Instead, it's the admissions office that decides your fate. No matter how great a writer you are, you get the feeling that you can get rejected just because the admissions office was like hangry at that one instance. Like, oopsies, I was mad because I didn't have my sweet little treat that day, or didn't have my morning cigarette. And for that, you're practically banned from college, right? Banned for life. Now, given that college admissions for some of you guys can feel definitely like a life or death situation, uh, especially for those with like really strict parents, what do you think goobers would do? Yeah, they're probably going to be grasping at any sense of control they can get, right? This is where the endless editing comes in. With our fates at the mercy of college admissions officers, we would do anything for a sense of control. The mind's going to conjure mistakes that don't exist and make you feel like the work looks like booty because it needs a target of attack. You see what's going on here? If you accepted that your fate is up to others, you'll lose the sense of control. There's no action that will grant you guaranteed results. So the mind just makes up just makes up this evil concoction, this witch's cauldron of like mistakes and cringiness in your essay, which aren't even true or probably don't even exist, to give you the illusion that you have mistakes to actually fix at all, targets to hit. That way, there's a sense of comfort, a sense of control, in an otherwise hopeless, hopeless admission season. Now, let's actually go a little bit deeper, okay? So, specifically, I'm going to get into addiction. Here's some explanation. The mind, as we kind of covered a little bit before, is a tricky thing. We have this presumption that the interpretations that come from the mind must be real or based on reality. However, this is not the case, especially for students who struggle with college essay hangover. As mentioned before, it's the sense of control, especially the lack thereof, that takes over the mind. It gives people the need to edit again and again and again in search of some golden ratio, some El Dorado, a golden city with an ancient king bathing in gold. It's your mind's way of giving you a little dopamine hit every time. You fear the lack of control that you have when it comes to admissions. Editing grants a temporary false sense of control to fight against fear. See how that works? But because there's no such thing as perfect, the anxious heart is going to find a way to search for mistakes that don't even exist. You're going to be stuck in that editing hangover practically forever. Why? Well, it's addicting. It's so addicting to wake up feeling that anxiety and finally get rid of it for good with a bunch of editing, right? All the way until the very end of the day. But that's the thing, it's for the day. Then you wake up feeling like crap. That is until you edit. Again, panic, dopamine. Panic, dopamine. It's addiction to one's own anxiety. Of course, some students also become dogs to other addictions. You guys have probably already seen these in things like, Reddit, right? The masochistic relationship with sweaty college admissions. It's like, hey, T20 schools, I'm your biggest fan. I'll do anything. But like, you get the point, right? Now, here's where we're going to get to some of the good stuff, okay? Because I know I kind of covered a lot of pessimistic stuff. Specifically, I'm going to be covering how do we avoid all of this, right? So, unless you really learn to suspend the idea that you can control the admissions process, which you can, right? That is, guarantee an outcome of 100% acceptance. Keyword guarantee here, okay? You will always be chasing this impossible goal. You need to let go of that illusion of control if you really want to avoid being haunted by these delusions. Funnily enough, letting go of that control means being brave. Now, how do you be brave? Well, avoiding the negative emotion that comes from the fear of rejection probably isn't a good place to start. I've got a few exercises I do with my students, but here's one that works pretty well. I recommend you sit down with your thoughts and let it wander into catastrophic devastation. What I mean by this is actually just let your mind ruminate about how bad it would be to get rejected. This is crazy, I know, okay, but for many of you goobers, this is going to be pretty painful. like, and well, yeah, that's the point. You need to sit with the pain. Don't act on the pain. Just sit with it. Let your mind go in circles thinking about the fact that you can indeed get rejected. And it's not your fault, by the way, but you can get rejected. And you'll notice after a while that, you're going to get a little itch. You know what itch I'm talking about? That little dopamine hit, your drugs. You're going to feel the desire to control the situation by editing and thereby alleviating the pain of having to accept the possibility that is getting rejected. It's going to come roaring into your brain, trust me, right? Dude, actually, sometimes even the brain tricks you. It tells you to edit the essay because it's quote unquote totally got a cool idea that you should write into the essay, bro. Don't trust it. Your brain's going to conjure ideas that just sound really good. And the moment you write it, it just sounds like booty. Like, more often than not, it's just it's your mind trying to essentially trick you into taking another dopaminergic activity. Learn to sit with the pain. It's a meditative process. And, not gonna lie, it's not easy. There's a lot of emotional baggage that comes with it, especially because you're considering modern college admissions industry, right? Like, it's a very prestigious but also anxiety ridden industry. But when you come to accept the possibility of failure by not acting on your anxiety, but just letting it sit, you'll notice that your mind, after depriving it of its dopamine boost, will calm down. This is just one way that's worked very well on the path to becoming brave. Being brave in facing the possibility that you might fail. Be brave in recognizing your efforts, that they might nonetheless be in vain no matter what you do. Be brave and don't grasp for straws that don't exist. Just face the unknown. Do it. And I get it. The reality of things are sometimes beyond our control. It's sometimes the truth just too heavy for us to bear sometimes. It's it's a harsh truth, right? Yeah, I know, but hey, that's enough harsh realities for now. This is a tough pill to swallow, even for a lot of my students, okay? So why don't you get some rest for now? Hmm? Shh, 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 shh. It's okay. Look into my eyes. Just rest. Sleep. Oh, hey, you're awake. Thanks so much, you guys, for sticking around with me. I know I say this at the very end of like every episode practically, but I really do mean it. You guys are the best. This video has actually been a topic that I've been thinking about for like a really long time now, so I'm super glad that you guys stuck through with it. It's something important to me because I think like at least in the college admission sphere, like nobody seems to be actually talking about this. Like it's a weird kind of mental trap that I find like it's like shocking to me that nobody really covers this in depth a lot. But and I think a lot of students actually don't have a solution to this kind of problem, or just don't even know how to put it in words. They just get stuck with it, right? So I seriously hope that some of you guys find this advice helpful, especially in the admission season. And even if the solution is a little difficult, right? I get that accepting and being brave in the admissions process isn't really like a one and done thing, right? Like, this is something that's very difficult, but uh, it's a pathology that needs to essentially go away if you really want to be able to get over college essay hangover. So, but anyway, if you guys really need anything like college admissions essay help, or really just need anything with like college consulting in general, or anything like extracurriculars or for your general profile, feel free to contact me via email in the description box below. And as always, I'll see you later, you sleepy, freaky, and ultimately brave goobers.